G'day Hammers, how you doing? Oh, that's a bit better. Not too bad tonight actually. What is it? 16 degrees. It's a warm night tonight. Had a bit of rain, that's probably got something to do with it. We just had a slack dinner, had fish and chips. Very nice. Yeah, we've been busy with family and doing stuff. How you been? How's the warm? I believe you're getting hotter than normal in Canada. Two-day heat wave, yeah. I've got a friend way up north in Canada, way past year, and he says it's definitely warmer than normal. We've had what would I describe our summer as? Middle of the road, pretty warm for some months, but not as hot as it could get. Yeah, summer's good. We like summer. We don't, we'd settle for 30 degrees a day. That would do us, 30 C. A lot of people would think that would be hot, but it's just nice. If it's at its peak at 30, that means in the morning it's about 20, and in the evening about the same. So pretty good. Yeah, but a 2-day heat wave, we don't get 2-day heat waves, Hammers. It's like 5 months. Yeah, the thing about the cold, you can rug up so you can control your body temperature, but when it's 45, there's only so much skin you can take off. Hello, Patty. Yeah, we haven't been on for a while, been a bit busy. The wife's here, she's just sitting quietly on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yep, I'm playing a game.
But a nice bit of fish tonight. Snapper. It's going to be a warm one, I think, for the Northern Hemisphere by what I can see. It's not just Canada getting the heat. Patty says hello to you.
Hello.
I see all across the north of North America. Pretty hot. Just wanted to say hi, or I'll shut it down now, Hammers. No worries, we'll close it. See everybody. You must have been bored, but only for a moment. What time is it where you are? Oh, it's pretty early in the morning, isn't it? 5:36, something like that. Must be going to bed. Had the family over yesterday. Big Barbie. Kids playing on the lawn. It was good. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's relative to what you're used to. Pretty sure you get some hot weather, Paddy. But Canadians aren't really used to that heat. I was saying to Hammers earlier, got a friend way up north in Canada, and he says it's hot for such an early start to the summer. Just getting your day started in Kentucky, yeah? Gets hot in Kentucky and cold. You get the 4 seasons there. Victoria over east is in a lockdown due to the virus. I think they've had 60 cases, so they shut the state down. Yeah. A mate of mine says up there too that it's not so much the heat in Canada, it's like it's magnified because of the humidity. I think VMAC's the same. I think she gets pretty humid when she gets the heat. Well, not her personally, but the temperature. There is no virus. Right. Professor Hammers, who predicted a Trump victory, and there is no virus. You just need to make another statement to get the trifecta. Yeah, you do. We've known a guy in Kentucky. How long have we known Luther for? Probably 15 years.
Yeah.
And he gets snow. He boils. So it's pretty tough. But we don't really get 4 seasons.
Yes, we do.
Nah, really, we get sort of hot or cold.
Nah.
Now, our cold is like 18 degrees Celsius. That's cold. Got down here the other night to 6. That was cool. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was cold. Veggie garden's looking all right. We've got things we're eating out of it already for winter. Our uncle died of COVID, Hammers. I don't know how close you want me to go with how many. I didn't ask for any president. I just predicted who would lose and who would win. 25 years, probably about the same era as you, Paddy. Mitch McConnell country. He's a funny bugger, Mitch. Weird bugger. No, he died of COVID, Hammers. Pretty sure you'll line up to get your vaccination shot. It'll be a while before we get to the US. Well, you can't fly around the world, I think pretty much universally, unless you're maybe some of the Southeast Asian countries. Universally, in the future, you won't be flying to another country unless you have a certificate of vaccination. That's how it will work. The world has entered a new phase, and that new phase is, this is one pandemic. Doesn't mean there won't be others. And the variants of this one are many. Many and varied, that's for sure. A new Nuremberg. Oh, right. So, will the trials be held there, or? Much as many other people have been there too long. I agree. I agree completely. I think politicians should have to retire at 60. Why? Because they become entrenched and nothing happens. But like I say, in Victoria, in the eastern states, g'day JP, as JP would know, Victorians are under lockdown again, well, mainly around the big city, but they'll get through this. Your doctor and dentist both wanted a copy of my vaccine card. I thought that was strange. No, that'll be pretty much the norm in the future too, I think. It's like, I imagine in the future, give you an example, Paddy, say in a couple of years' time you go to hospital to have, I don't know, a knee fixed or something. And you say, I've not been vaccinated, which you're entitled not to. You don't have to get vaccinated. It's no problem. But they may put you in a different section of the hospital. All unvaccinated patients will be in one wing. It's a vaccine against Canadians. What happens if you take the vaccine, Hammers? All Canadians shrivel up and die. The beauty about anything like this around the planet, you don't have to take it. All right, JP. You don't have to take the vaccine if you don't want to. But if you want to travel in the future, it may just be in your local area. Well, I think 3.5 million dead people through a mega nobody burger is quite substantial.
Hear the fireworks?
Yeah, I can hear the fireworks. I think they're celebrating JP's arrival. For sure. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of different things in the future. We've got to be brutally honest with ourselves. I mean, when I was young, whooping cough was bad. Measles, chickenpox killed people. Not a lot of them, but did kill them. The pox itself, as we used to call it, killed people. And we've got and had vaccines for those for decades and decades. And what does that mean? Well, this isn't the last of infectious diseases. I think I was reading up recently, since 1988, I think we've had 12 outbreaks of one form or another of COVID. See, the fireworks, Hammers, or World War III has started. The Chinese are invading.
It's been a while since we've had to hear that.
Yeah. I think anything like a vaccine is a personal issue. I'm not going to go in the streets and scream and shout that I've taken the vaccine and all you people who haven't taken the vaccine are bad. No, I won't do that. And I don't see why anyone who hasn't taken the vaccine and doesn't want to take it has to march in the street and say, I'm not taking it. But you simply just don't have to take it. Why make a hullabaloo of something you're not taking? No, it's not. It's not part of the. It's a different variant, but there's lots of very similar. Look, I can tell you, Hammers, there are 333 viruses on the planet that will do damage to humans. 333. You can check it up if you like, and they can kill you in one form or another. There are probably about 1,000 bacteria that can do damage to us. You can get a choice of bacterial pneumonia, or you can get viral pneumonia. That's a bit of an each-way sword. Well, I mean, when it boils down to it, death certificates, I think, all around the world probably don't show, not in your case, Peter, but don't show a lot of people who have died of this because they just died and they've been buried in the bush, you know, in different countries. Yeah, we can die so many ways, it's just ridiculous. If you talked about an alien trying to get to Earth and colonise, you'd start thinking, well, our species has lived with all these viruses and bacteria for a very long time. You aliens have never had anything to do with them. So I think the War of the Worlds in its ending is probably very true. Mind you, it works in reverse. When we go to other planets, our species may face things that they've never come across as well. I think it's common sense. Look, Paddy, you know, and you're fully aware, you're a very intelligent person, that just because you have a vaccine doesn't mean you won't catch it, because there are so many different varieties of the damn thing now. I'm not defending any propaganda at all. If Patty's son was incorrectly certified to have died of COVID, that should be sorted. I have no problem with that at all. But there are plenty of people that have died all around the planet because they're poor that we'll never hear of. The statistics for what you just mentioned, Hammers, the flu or influenza, are staggering in my country. New South Wales released their report on this year for the 12-month period, where they normally have 43,000 plus cases of influenza. The whole state recorded 30. 30. Can you believe that? Hello, Archer. Sorry if I missed you before. Good on you, mate. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to protect not only your son, but yourself. Good stuff. That's what we do. That's why people who go to a doctor and they say, I'll just take a couple of painkillers and it should help. So they go home and they take painkillers without questioning it at all. But you let people pop up and say, I'm not taking the vaccine because it's a plot by the world leaders to undermine us. Well, if that was the case, why are they bothering to try and immunise all of Africa? I mean, the influence the Africans have on the world is very minimal. And what would be the point of suppressing Africans who live in poverty anyway, most of them, by giving them a vaccine? What's the point of that? It's like hitting an egg with a hammer. There's only one result. Well, upper respiratory, Paddy, can mean many things. Many, many things. Could be asthmatic, could be influenza, could be many things. It doesn't have to be the virus, that's for sure. It's one of the biggest killers, actually, upper respiratory failure. Yeah, I mean, Archer, I've told this story before and Paddy would remember it. When I was a kid, my mother used to take us to chickenpox parties and measles parties. I'm not kidding you. It was the norm in the 60s. Why are we going to the party? There's not much party food here. Just mingle with the children. Seeds, you'll be fine. Yeah, so that's what they used to do. Working on the principle of herd immunity. And the reason why herd immunity works is because, hello Danny, nice to see you. And Danny can back me up here. The reason why herd immunity works is that any virus that is sort of not going to be bouncing off people, even for those not vaccinated, they're unlikely to catch it. So you've got to reach, off memory, when I last studied this, 65 to 70% of the population has to be vaccinated. Doesn't mean if you don't get vaccinated you wouldn't get it, but it becomes less and less. Yeah, Paddy, what I'm thinking is that on the death certificate, and they wrote upper respiratory failure, that could mean a lot of things. It could be to the impact injuries. I don't know. I'm not privileged to any of that. So we all have our opinions. But entitled. Everyone's entitled to do what they like, Danny, aren't they? Take it or don't take it. I couldn't care less. I'll be taking it because we want to travel. Polio was terrible. I grew up with kids that got caught polio. What it is, in our modern society, we've not, in the last probably 40 years, faced anything like this. And the reaction of people in my country have been very good. We've got Victoria, a big state over east, that's locked down at the moment. And over the last 10 days, they've only had 60 cases. So they just lock everything down. The government pays people so they don't go hungry, and it works. It's usually gone within a few weeks. But the entitlement for people's opinions, I don't care what they say, it's their opinions. If people say to me, don't take the vaccine seeds because it's a world domination plot to control you, I'm thinking the world sort of controls us anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, Archer, some of the reports, particularly from Europe, who are well advanced in their distribution of the vaccine, is that people are still catching it, but after they've been vaccinated, it's not too bad. Not a lot of people are dying. Actually, yesterday, the UK recorded 0 deaths from the virus, which was a major milestone, I'm sure. Doesn't mean people aren't catching it. They're learning better how to manage it when people do have it. There are different ventilating systems now than when they first started. Everything about disease, viruses and bacteria take time to study, and we weigh things into context. It's only been a year and a half since this nasty little bugger came along. Well, no, that's not true, Hammers. You need to go and check the statistics. A lot of old people have died, but it's not exclusive for people in their 80s. Yeah, Hammers, he's always a grumpy old bugger, just put it bluntly, but I don't mind his opinions. They don't inflict anything on me. Even though he'll say the odd sly remark every now and then, I let it go. But when it comes down to each and every one of ours views and opinions and what we do and don't do about it, that's it. It's individual. There will be a group of people, no matter however you do things, all around the world, because they have a choice. And choice should be respected either way. I've had people that said, I'm definitely not taking the vaccine. I know them. And I'm saying, okay, I don't admonish them. No, I don't think I'm stupid, and I don't think I'm dumb. I'm tall, blue eyes, and all that sort of thing, but I don't think stupid or dumb. I've made dumb decisions in my life, but I think I'm not a lone sheep there. But the world is moving forward. There's some great progress. I don't know, I'll tell you what, you guys, this is an opinion-based question, and it's not major, because I'm not going to Japan, but I still think them doing the Olympic Games in a very short time is crazy, because at the moment Japan's having a major spike. And the Japanese people don't want to have the Olympic Games. I read that article 2 days ago where public opinion in Japan is, what are we doing? This is stupid. Yeah, that's right, Archer. It's like genetically, and I believe this is true, that let's say, Archer, you and I had ancestors in a village 2,000 years ago, and our ancestors, Archer and mine, a lot of them got this particular virus or something very similar, and then moving forward 2,000 years, because the antibodies are genetically passed down to a certain extent, which means that some genetics within your system can actually save you from what was happening to your ancestors a long time ago. And I think it's quite true. Genetically, certain viruses and bacteria can damage people incredibly. Give you the best example of modern world, North American Indians, Aboriginals in Australia. Neither of them could handle alcohol or sugar, and many die of kidney failure, liver failure. What would that reason be? Well, our ancestors developed enzymes. Still not good for us, lots of alcohol or sugar, but we can certainly handle it a lot better than people's for genetics over thousands of years that have never had sugar or alcohol. And there's proof in the pudding there. So that's a genetic trait that we've learnt. In other words, our ancestors drank lots of grog. And the Eagles won today, Archer. They went up and down here, my team. Up and down like a yo-yo. Mind you, they did play poor old Carlton, which they should have beaten anyway. And just to make it official, this is the hangout for Danny G's birthday celebrations. All gifts can be left at the front, or can be posted on PayPal or Instagram. No, I'm just kidding. Danny G turned 30 the other day. I mean, it's a big milestone for a young lady, but 30 she is. I did get some information to pass on to you, Danny. June 22, or 2022, is the earliest date, and that can be extended, but this is official from the government. June of 22 is the earliest anyone from another country can visit, and they've said that that is adjustable by different information. You did turn 30. Nothing wrong with being born in 1991, Danny. Don't let it worry you. I'm pretty sure you have contacted them. Well, that's the information I got off an Australian government website. June 22 is the earliest, which will work out okay if that's what it is. Yeah, I've skipped the 30 a couple of times myself, Patty. I used to be able to do the light fandango at 30, now I just fandango. I was reading that in some Southeast Asian countries, you know, we're talking Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, maybe Kuala Lumpur, maybe Singapore, will have what they call two-tier passports, which means you can travel within certain countries without being vaccinated, but you're limited. In other words, that you won't be able to travel like to the UK if you live in Singapore or Vietnam, or you won't be able to go to the United States. Got to put clothes in dry. Actually, if you hop in the dryer yourself, that will do two jobs at once, Danny. Actually, it was a weird day today. The wife put the clothes in the lounge, not outside. It was sunny in the morning, but she thought, nah, might rain. It did rain. So a pretty wise choice in the end.
Yes. Trying to think if I should just ring John, the electrician, to come out. That front aircon's still not working correctly. He has installed them and he's did all the electrical.
That, yeah, but air conditioners have usually there's what they call air conditioning maintenance people that do
There
that
is.
professionally.
But you said they have to be electricians.
No, never be shy in expressing your opinion, Archer, because it's yours. No one else has to agree. Hello, Tony. But we'll probably definitely get the vaccination because we want to travel. And I keep my eye on world forums, and it's pretty much going to be a case of no vaccine, no travel to many countries. That's just the way it is. How many vaccines have I had in my life? Well, I had to have a big one when I left the UK to come to Australia, which included loads of things like smallpox and you name it. It was all in that. You know when you see people with that little ring on their arm? I got one of them. Well, we're entitled to our opinions, Archie. That's the difference. It's one of those things that the world is not a very big place, no matter what people tell you. There are distances between countries, but it's not very big. When I can travel from where I live to London in 17 hours, that's not very big. You know, halfway around the world. So these viruses travel faster than that, but this will not be the last virus that causes problems. We're going to get more. There's so many people on the planet. That's how it works. You're not over 40, you can't get the vaccine. I think that's going to change pretty soon, Tony. I think the Australian government is so piss-farting around. They should just open clinics and say anyone can come. That's my logic. Oh, just for Tony, I got my electricity bill the other day. Still got a credit of like nearly $800, and I used $37. Well, I didn't use $37 of their electricity because their reading fee's about $55, but on the bill it said $37 for 65 days or something. So that's not too bad. I really don't think I'll be paying electricity bill again, to be honest. And I haven't got a battery yet. Well, Archer, I think eventually there'll be a mandatory clause for working in aged care, not just homes or, you know, people that go to others' houses to help people. We know a couple of people that do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people can get it, but wouldn't it be nice, Tony, if the government said, we've opened up 30 in the area, places you can go, and just rock up. Yeah, it's like piss-farting around is what I'm saying. That's what they're doing. And, you know, when you start reading articles about AstraZeneca, and I'm not attacking the company, but lots of people in Australia have been getting blood clots. And is it only Australia? No, it's all around the world. Does that mean Pfizer doesn't get them? No, they do, but nowhere near the amount AstraZeneca. So when the government says, oh, we'll give all the old people the AstraZeneca, and I'm thinking, hang on a second, just hang on a cotton minute. How about we choose? I think I missed out on German measles needle when I was in high school because I didn't really go to school much. I kept going fishing. And they told me on the Monday when I got back, everyone had a needle. I thought, oh, did they? Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be, Arch. I think they're going to be sort of I tell you what, you can keep the job, but you can't keep it here, type thing. Can you send me a picture of your stroke? I'm not sure whether you're talking about my golf stroke, which I'm not very good at, or you're talking about pulmonary artery failure. No, I haven't had a stroke yet. I won't rule it out at my age, but not yet. Your electricity bill was $109 for 29 days. Wow. Well, Tony and I have solar panels and they pay for our electricity. I'm getting on, Hammers. It could very well happen. Just, I hope it doesn't. I think that's the complication, isn't it, Archie? When you go to a hospital and you work there, there's a lot of people that fall ill, either through a disease or a virus, and their immune system is compromised because of it. So you probably need to take that into account to say, yeah, maybe I should foresee, geez, that's cold. Nice. That's the way to go. We'll still get a battery if the prices keep coming down, but at the moment I'm not paying for electricity, so sort of catch-22 for me, Tony. I'd like to have one, because when the power goes out, we'll continue to have power. If it goes out now, well, we don't have power. But because we produce so much, like today it was raining, a little bit of, and we still got like 15 kilowatt. I think the results of having any vaccination, let's not even bother about this one, any vaccination has a certain amount of risk involved too, because you're introducing foreign bodies into the body. And one of the things that I see occur often is people will get reactions like headaches, a bit lethargic, and like I say, there's been out of, I think it's close to 2 million vaccinations in Australia. There's been about 12 people with the AstraZeneca that have got these blood clots in their stomach and weird places. I think one person has died. But you'll never argue with me and say, well, yeah, maybe someone's died, seeds, but just take the vaccine anyway. You know, hang on a second, mate. Hang on a second. How about you give me the vaccine that kills less people or makes less people sick? Give me that one. Oh, okay. Because they won't be rough road shot over by someone saying, just take it. I know it could be a risk, but just take it. No, I'll take the one that kills less people. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, Tony and Archer, check out the New South Wales government report in regards to influenza for the 12 months as of a couple of days ago. The 12-month report showed a year ago, 43,500 people got influenza in New South Wales. This last 12 months, 30 people got influenza in New South Wales. Now, influenza kills people. So one of the extraordinary things about social distancing, wearing gloves and masks, means that you don't get to pass on influenza that easy. And out of 10,000 people that get influenza, normally there's about 20 people that die. So working on that theory, we've saved a lot of lives by cleaning our hands, wearing a mask and gloves. So that was staggering, 43,500 people down to 30. $2K, yeah, we've just turned on the lounge to keep the house warm. That's not that cold tonight, but like I say, we don't use much more than 13 to 15 kilowatt a day anyway. And in winter, in a peak of winter, I'm getting about 15 kilowatt. In summer, much, much more. Yeah, I think if you check on it, Archer, it's quite staggering. Hammer says, I thought you overcame your prison guard brainwashing in your old age. I don't know what that's referring to. If you don't like me, Hammers, just say I don't like your siege and you're talking shit. Instead of beating around the bush. I haven't been a prison guard or worked in a psychology unit for 18 years. So I'm pretty much over it. But like I say, one of the things that has definitely occurred is that there's a lot less cases of other diseases and viruses and bacterial diseases because people have been washing their damn hands. When they go to the supermarket, you see everybody spray their hands with a disinfectant, and they'll pull a disinfectant wipe up and they'll wipe their trolley. And that's universal in Australia. That's what everyone does. I'm not sure where you've been infringed, Hammers. Explain to the mob here where your liberty and freedom has been impeached during this COVID crisis. Where have you lost your freedoms? Can you still go to work? I think you're still working. Can you still go to the shops? Yeah, you still go to the shops. Can you fly to Australia? Well, no, you can't fly to Australia. So there's one of your liberties of coming to Australia has been, but that's mainly because of the Australian government saying you can't come. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to see you. There's no such thing, and even during this period, other than saying you have to stay home for 2 weeks or maybe 4 weeks because this particular variety of virus is quite rampant. Everybody has done it. Yeah, there've been people in the street screaming, I don't want to wear a mask, it's against my freedoms and liberty. Really? Well, don't wear a mask. Just in Australia, pay the $10,000 fine. Simple. I've only got I'm using my little laptop. It looks like a fiery sun, or is it the virus? I'm not sure. Could be the virus, is it, Carolyn? But I'm using the little phone to talk to you and the big phone to broadcast. No, because on my phone it's so small, Carolyn, sorry. Tony says he's been catching up on his elbow addiction from the channel Elvis Travel Archives. He blocked me on Facebook, so can't watch him there. I thought he'd gone and disappeared into the netherness. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that happen in life. Life is a long line of shitty potholes, and even one of us gets a chance to step in them. It's a fruit, okay? It's just a very small icon on my phone, Carolyn, so sorry. There's things that I remember when my youngest son had a fit when he was 3 years old, and we definitely nearly lost him. And he continued to have fits until he was 14 years of age. That means every night I'm thinking, is he fitting in his sleep? I'd get up, because it's one of those fits you'd have when you go to sleep. There are many different varieties of fits, trust me. But after 14, his hormones kicked in and he genetically changed and he come good. And my youngest son now is 32. But definitely thought we were going to lose him. We've lost people along the way. You lose loved ones, sadly, all the time. That's the part of life which is a pain in the ass. Yeah, there's been young people in our families that have been lost, sadly. And the impact is forever. You don't get the question, are you over it now? No, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't at all. I think one of the strange anomalies is you see it all the time. You've all seen it now, where there's an outbreak somewhere and all of a sudden the supermarket shelves are empty. We're talking within a day. And it's like you can see people's anxiety in their face and their panic. And you start to realise that this is just one issue, like this is the COVID. There are many issues that could crop up just like that. That's terrible, Carolyn. I'm not better than anyone else, Hannah. I don't know where you're going with this. I've no understanding tonight why you're getting aggressive and angry at what I'm saying. I'm saying you're entitled to your opinion. Speak it freely. I don't have to agree with you, but you just seem to be poking me with a big stick. I'm not sure if you're getting a lot of enjoyment out of it, but I'm pretty sure it'll be futile. I'm certainly no better than the average hamster. It's like we've had none of our freedoms other than travel. We love travelling. Many of us, as if people have known us for a long time, we travelled all the time. Didn't always film what we travelled, but we love travelling. And that's a liberty, if you like, that's been removed, but we understand the reasons behind it. I'm not selfishly going to say to all the governments of the world, you should let me come in, because I want to travel. Yeah, it's like you'll get power outages, Paddy. A good example. You've all seen that. My daughter up north, they had a cyclone come just north of them, but it destroyed all the power infrastructure for 2 weeks. And it was like panic after about 3 days. Nothing left in the shops up there. But she had enough food to keep it going, and they had generators, so they got by. And I turned it into a bit of fun with the kids, having barbecues outside, things like that. Anti-vaxxers are not terrorist hammers. They are taking a decision only. It's their choice. That's it. They can not take the vaccine. I don't care. It's their choice. If they're feeling ostracised by the rest of the population who do take the vaccine, that's a bit sad. But in the likelihood that it is true that this particular virus and other viruses can kill you, and you could take a medication vaccine to prevent or make it a minimal loss, why wouldn't you? I think that went down in about 3 hours, Archer. I think I read somewhere, some wag went out to Geelong, or was near Geelong when it was declared, and he picked up like 30 packets of toilet paper. Which the shopkeeper thought, what's going on here? No, it's not up to me. I don't make decisions for you, Hammers. If you don't want to take the vaccine, you don't want to wear a mask, you don't want to travel, that's fine by me. I could be wrong, but my memory's pretty good. I think some lady in Ohio just won $1 million for taking the vaccine, which I thought was hilarious. I've also read that Anheuser-Busch beer will be given freely to people who get the vaccine. Funny little gimmicks. Why don't you turn your nose up at $1 million? Yeah, it's like, I think we buy that Kleenex with the ribs in it, whatever that is. We always buy a 32 pack because it's cheaper to buy it bigger. And we never run out of toilet paper. Well, Hammers, I suggest you don't take the vaccine. I think you believe in yourself 50-50. 50 it could be true, 50 it might not be true. For most people, and there are other different reasons why people get the vaccine, not just for themselves but for family members. We've got a family member that has a compromised immune system. So you start thinking outside the box and thinking, well, it's not maybe just for me that I'd be doing this. You're raffling off hunting rifles to get into. Well, I think for some people, the obvious is they will just take the vaccine. For some other people, and I'm in this category, believe it or not, I will take the vaccine, but I want the one that is less likely to harm me. It's not an unreasonable request. We're not in a panic in Australia because whenever we do get an outbreak, we just shut everything down and it goes away. But I think history will show, without doubt, like other viruses that have come and gone, that there will be something else in the future. We are rapidly living in a world with many more people. If you want to put us in the category of battery hens, when I was a kid, there might have been 2 billion people on the planet. There's now close to 8. So if I was one of, say, a couple of chickens in a chicken pen, now there are 8 of us, which means that there's a lot more people to pass on whatever's going around at the time. There's people that can't get the vaccine, by the way, with compromised health issues. Like we know that our son-in-law has a compromise in regards to blood clots. He has a preemption to this, so he probably won't be getting the vaccine. I think what will happen, Paddy, is that because this is so early on, and this is an extraordinary event, having vaccines at all in this short period of time, that there's plenty of work going on looking at all the varieties and what the key element is in the proteins within this virus, that there will be a drug within a couple of years that will cover most of the issues. They're talking about specifics, that some virus gets affected by this vaccine but not as strongly against another. So you can see where I'm going. Just because they've got a vaccine of type, they're probably working on something that's more than a booster, more comprehensive, I think is what I'm saying. In Australia, I'll give you an idea. If Archer walked into a bottle shop, just bought a couple of bottles of beer, and went home, within probably 20 minutes of someone who had been to that bottle shop and had contracted the virus, probably 300 people would be notified immediately. Archer would be one of them, saying that you need to self-quarantine for 14 days, get tested, blah, blah, blah. That's what we do in Australia. We have these apps on our phones that everyone uses, and you just click on the boom, it tells you you've been there and at what time. Well, I don't know how far you're down that rabbit hole, Hammers, but I can't see the piece of string to pull you back. You believe what you want to believe. I have no problem with that. But we had a lockdown here, I'm trying to think, 2 months ago, Archer. Hello, Mel. It was 5, Mel might be on it. Our lockdown was 5 days, Mel, do you remember? A couple of months ago. That was no big deal. We've had probably 2 or 3 like that. Oh, we've got your itinerary worked out, Danny, but based on the amount of time that you'll be spending here, you won't be sleeping. I think the mask was a bit funny. Sometimes, like me and the missus are sitting in the car with the mask on, and then we'd come home and take the mask off. And I sort of questioned why. If I'm in the car by myself, I didn't have to wear a mask. But even someone from the same household, we had to wear a mask in the car. I found that a bit weird. We complied, but no big deal. Oh, you're in the Hunter region, beautiful area there, aren't you? Sleep is overrated unless you require it. Trust me on these long haul flights, Danny. We're talking long haul. You'll be waking up here saying, is it Wednesday or Friday? I say it's Monday. Well, I think most people that have done that Mal around our area, the shopkeeper just gives you a mask. It's rare. Most people have in the glove box. That's where most people chuck them. I went to the dentist 2 weeks ago, and the guy walked in and realised when he got to the counter, anyway, a couple of months ago when the thing was on, and he realised he wasn't wearing a mask. He put both hands over his mouth and said to the reception, I'll be right back, I'm getting the mask out the car. It's one of those things that we don't normally wear masks, but everyone complied. It's not a big, like I say, it doesn't attack your freedom. I don't like wearing them. They're a pain in the ass, but because they're necessary for a necessary evil, it gets done. Hammers, your statement, you idiots, take the vaccine. It's a global IQ test. All right, Hammers. Around about 280 Africans are going to get the vaccine. How's that going to impact them with your last statement? I'm not saying Africans are silly or stupid, but they certainly don't have a great influence in the Western world and compromise, markets, etc. So what would be the point of vaccinating them, other than maybe to save their lives? Yes, one of the things that not many people get at the moment, Mel, is a cold or the flu, because we're all social distance and we're just clever, wiping down things with antibacterial wipes and things, that we're not transmitting as much as we used to, which is a good thing. I can't remember the last time anyone in my family had a cold or a flu. I tell you what, Mel, I reckon one of the worst places to go is a doctor's surgery or a hospital, for a very good reason. People go to a doctor because they're not too well. You might walk in there and I'll just have a checkup. Go away with the flu. Picornavirus, which is a common cold, but everyone at the hospital had it. They were saying you could hold a swab in the air and it would test positive. Exactly. I'll give you one of the old analogies, which is true. And a lot of people go, nah, it's not true. It is very true. When you go to the toilet, everyone goes to the toilet. No one in this room can say, I don't go to the toilet, I choose not to. No, there are no anti-toileters in the room. The fact is that if you go to the toilet and do your business, and you leave the toilet seat up, press the button, there's a very good chance that the aerosols within the vapour that evaporates from the toilet whilst you're flushing may end up on your toothbrush. So, put the toilet lid down before you flush. Now you can go away and do your own personal studies, but that's the truth. They did a test years ago where they went round to people's homes after they answered the service saying, no, we don't put the toilet lid down. And they went to people's houses that did. Well, the ones that did put the toilet seat down, there were no fecal matter on the walls, mirrors, glasses, porcelain or toothbrushes at all, but those that left the toilet seat up, yep, there was. Budgies are the worst. No, we don't flush budgies in Australia. Not sure whether you're going down that line. You'll be arrested here, Danny, flushing budgies. But it's true. It's like, I don't know why, if you've been in a hospital and someone has to use a pan because they're incapacitated, the first thing they do is cover it. It's the truth. They cover it, dispose of it with the lid down. Well, the point being is, why would a toilet have a lid? That's right, Paddy. What's the point of having one? Well, the point is to contain, without sounding rude, fecal matter, which can aspire into the air in very small particles and land on your toothbrush. Yes, they are. Every time we've been to the supermarket, I get a wet wipe and I put stuff on my hands first, and then I'll wipe the trolley down. And that's one of the main places where people catch crap. I could import a budgie into Canada for about $1.5 million. Hammers, it is possible.
Don't they have budgies over there?
Canada is not a great environment for a budgie.
Oh, no, I suppose.
Maybe a canary.
Yeah, there's thousands of them in the bush, yeah.
We've been on a couple of cruises, but just short ones, Mel, but you're quite right. It's a very confined area, a cruise ship, unfortunately. You're just loaded, Mel. We often get people caught at the borders in Australia trying to take lizard, parrot, you name it, anything that they can out of the country. The last one I remember was, and Melmo would be the only one that would understand, the mountain devil. You know, the little tiny lizard with lots of little bubbly spikes on it, Mel. There's about 30 of them stowed away in a tube or something that were going to Asia. All right, Tony, good to catch up with you, mate. Catch you later. Yes, that was something else brought up in this survey, Paddy, in regard to going to the toilet. How many people out of 100 do you think in the modern age going to the toilet will take their phone with them? Out of 100. This is 100 people who have a phone, of course. The answer was 98. Good people. Yeah, Mel and Hub, very good people. Yeah, they're very good people. And I don't care who you are, Archer. Everyone's welcome. She's very funny, Mel, actually. Works very hard. The truth is, even the begruntled people from time to time, those that are grumpy and angry, 99% of people are pretty good. That on occasions you can have your off day, let's be honest, everyone can. Arch says, my old name was Blue Ridge, but Gandalf killed me. No, he said, but my son was diagnosed with cancer, so I changed the name over. Blue Ridge, sounds good. Blue Ridge sounds like a wine. No worries, Hammers, you have a good day. And remember, don't wear a mask, don't get vaccinated, but don't be grumpy with people who do. I used to do and deliver therapy for people in regards to using my voice. That's a fact. But I don't do it anymore. So I'm thinking of doing a line when I can, because we're busy, very busy lately, believe it or not. A line of storytelling that I used to like, my grandkids love when I tell them stories. Ah, I get you now. Guitar is the Blue Ridge. Been threatening to get a guitar for a while. Again. I don't think I'm that wise. I've just done a lot of shit. It's like I walk into a brick wall, I turn around and say to you, Paddy, whatever you do, don't walk into a brick wall. It's very painful. No, my wife's an angel. With claws occasionally.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very personal thing, Paddy. I believe it's something you would say over time. My pet annoyance, not hate, I don't hate much in my life. My pet annoyance, when you go into a room and someone has just met you and will say, I love you. And I'm thinking, really? That's a very narrow aspect that you're looking at, only minutes of meeting me. No, the grandkids love it, Hammers, they do. I often will put on voices and they sit there with their hands up to their chin. Try not to scare them, but every now and then I can't help myself. But they love it. There's nothing like, I mean, if we want to be brutally honest, that's the earliest form of entertainment for humankind. There's someone like Hammers sitting around a campfire telling a story. True or not, doesn't matter. If it's entertaining or enthralling or chilling, whatever was needed at the time, the storyteller would tell. It was basically your Netflix of the 3000 BC century. It was an old tradition when I was a kid that everyone would take turn. If we weren't hanging around a piano and singing along, some people really shouldn't have sung, but they did that anyway. But there would be storytelling. Usually it would be like sitting down after you've listened to an old BBC radio horror show. This is the BBC. Time to shit yourself. And as kids we did. But there'd be stories by uncles and aunties and grandfathers and grandmothers that were just as interesting than the radio ones, and probably even more impact because they're coming from a relative. The best thing, and a lot of you probably don't know it, is that each and every one of you is a story. The good, the bad, and the ugly. On the road you've ridden is your life story. When you can, on occasions, reveal some of it to someone close to you, it probably makes more of an impact than anyone would really believe, because the truth of people's lives and their story, if you like, is just as fascinating than a blockbuster movie. In some cases, more so. I've done a few of those. In the beginning, Archer walked down the lane. Melmo was close behind. She was carrying a very large scythe. Archer ran into the bushes and Melmo hunted around with the torch on. And suddenly, she saw the red eyes. She swooped, and unfortunately, Archer's cat copped it badly. Archer, however, ran down the lane to safety. Good night, girls and boys. Don't worry about Archer. What about his cat, Melmo? For goodness sake. I know you wouldn't harm an animal. And the truth is, psychology proves, and psychiatrists have written over many decades, that if people kill animals freely, and I don't mean killing something to eat, I mean killing animals out of spite, they are more than likely to kill people exactly the same way. It's like one of the biggest, and I'll use the word failing, that we could all have is to sympathise with people online. Sympathy is a currency. Believe me, it's really a true currency. When you're sympathetic to someone's situation, it's very dangerous because you're now committed. It's like a currency. If you're empathetic and say things like, that must be terrible, I'm sorry to hear that. It's totally different than saying, oh, I'm really sorry, I wish I could help you. There's a variance there of empathy, which is not a currency, but sympathy is. So be very careful who you give your sympathy to. That's true, Hammers. I suppose if I was pushed to the point, I'd have no qualm in ending someone's life that was threatening my family. That is a given. But I wouldn't hunt someone down. Have you watched that video on YouTube? I don't know which one is on there. Yeah, it is true though, Mel, because we often see people, it could be perceived distress or pain or, going down the line of mental illness. If you can, I'd be blunt with people. I'm saying, I tell you what, whereabouts do you live? And they say, I live in Melbourne. I'd say, all right, I'm going to give you a couple of phone numbers privately. I'll email them to you, and there's some people there that can help you. I've not given that person any sympathy at all, but I've given them an out to some of their problems. If they're unwilling to do that, that's because they really weren't genuine in the beginning. Yeah, that's very true, Archie. What happens is people will gladly pull you down to their despair level in that hole, and you join them. They care not what the result of what you get from it, but you're now with them. They're sharing their misery. All right, Danny G, you're all slicked up, hair in a bun, got the uniform on and off to work. Now to turn on the radio and curse at the rain as you're getting to work. Stand by for the new video from Danny G. Hello, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all got pickups. I must make amends. Oh Lord, Danny G driving to work, swearing at everything. It's just crazy. Won't you buy me? That was funny, that video. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, we all got a story, every one of us. And it doesn't end generally with happily ever after. That would be good if you could say, like if I was Death, hello, my name's Death, and I could offer you all the option of dying in your sleep. And they've already done this test on people. 99% people say, I'll take that. So I just die in my sleep and I have no pain. Yep, that's how you go. When do I die? Well, not sure. Every time you go to sleep, it could happen. They start thinking, hang on a second, I don't mind dying in my sleep, but as long as like when I'm 90, and I said, well, no, my name's Death. I don't give you any guarantee like that. You just get the option of dying, some terrible disease, aircraft, truck accident, or in your sleep. But I don't tell you when. Those 99 out of 100 soon change their mind, saying, nah, not having that. My grandfather died in his sleep, but he was 104, which I figures, yeah, that's all right. He was born in 1895 and died in 1999. You want to go out like Joan of Arc? Well, I'm not sure how you can look in a long flowing gown with sort of a nice tiara headpiece, arms behind your back, tied to a wooden stake. Oh, dude, the stranger things that have happened in Canada. I lost a good friend. He was only 34. I was playing cricket against him, as you do. And he went to take a catch and fell over. Didn't get up again. The ambulance came and got him. He was dead before he got to the hospital. He died of a burst aorta in his heart. No, well, it could have been part of it as well, but definitely just burst a blood vessel in his heart. So it went out like a light. Another guy, a mate of mine, was a fantastic pursuit bicycle rider. He was 27 and he'd won many events. He was very, very good. And I didn't hear about it for about a week because I was away, and I got back and they said, oh, did you hear? I said, what? He just fell off his bike heart attack. So we don't get given a date and like an option. It just happens. A bit like your birth. You peered your little eyes out with your hands on either side of the exit and thought, what's this all about? Pretty much the same thing happens when you go. You sound like you got the bends, Mel. I had a little attack of the bends up north. I was in about only 10 metres of water. I come up, didn't feel good for the whole day. Yeah, I mean, like I say, Peter, we don't get the options. We don't know when or why or where. I remember reading a story in my old hometown of Geraldton where an old bloke was a tomato farmer, Italian guy, Joe was his name. I won't say his surname, but he did the same trip every day, take about 50 crates of tomatoes into the fruit and veg place and other stuff. He was driving into town and someone behind him noticed that he was weaving a little bit, and then he took about a minute to pull over. Well, he actually died before he pulled over, but he had the sense to do whatever he could before he did die, not to cause grief or injury to others. So, of course, no one was in the vehicle with him, so I can't give you the absolute, but the person behind said he was just weird. Because when they pulled over in front of him, the guy said, "You all right?" And he was gone. I do remember many, many years ago, I got to a shopping centre in Geraldton, up north, and I just pulled in, and there's a hullabaloo going on. Police turning up and ambulances. Some old bloke had got his car in the car park, and instead of gently reversing, flat to the floor, bang, about 100 metres, smashed into a building. I watched loved ones leave, and it's one of those weird things. If anyone's, my mother died of cancer. She had cancer about 25 years. She did well. But when she did pass, you realise, I was sitting around her with my two older sisters, and it was like we were reliving the funny things in life that happened, and we included our dead mother in the conversation. And we realised that we'd done all the grieving before she died. That's what you do, you don't realise it. And it was not a relief for us, but we could then relax. And that's how our mother would have liked it anyway. She would have probably thrilled at the fact that we sat around and talked to her for quite a period of time. You make some very carte blanche statements. I'll read what Hamas just wrote. I never understood this COVID thing, period. That's probably enough. You don't need to say any more. Don't all these idiots understand that they're going to die? Well, your first part of your statement or paragraph doesn't match the last part. Read again. I never understood this COVID thing. All right, so you don't understand it. But then you're categorising. Don't all these people, these idiots understand they're going to die? Everyone's going to die, Hammers. Guaranteed. I will give you a guarantee, you will die. When and where and why, I don't know. But I will guarantee it will happen. Lots of things I don't understand. The expanding universe, for one. It's like mind-numbing to think about it. I just think our galaxy, just our little galaxy, is 100 billion stars. And we just live near a sort of dull fading one. That's our local one, our local sun. All right, Melmo, take care. I think if you can reach a point in your life where you actually say to yourself, I don't need to know. Makes life a lot easier. Like someone says to me, how big's the universe? I go, well, I'm getting a headache thinking about it. I don't need to know. It's okay. It's as big as it is. It's one of those things, Paddy, you were talking about losing your best friend. There's lots of things that happen. Part of you dies as well. That's what happens with a loved one or a best friend or whatever. That's what happens. Part of you dies. The part you shared with that person dies with that person. But the memories do not. And I'm sure every person that's died, if they've got an opportunity to lean up and say, Paddy, just get on with your life, would be the same thing you would say if you were the one that left. Because that's what needed to be said. We don't have to have all the answers. We can have the questions. If they're unfulfilled and you don't know, and no one gives you the answer, it's okay. Some people pursue things that really are not that important and demand answers, and it's like, why? Well, my philosophy is quite simple, Hammers. I'm pretty sure you've heard me say it before. I believe that we've all got something wonderful to look forward to. Take that in the context that was been said, and I believe that. I believe it's a great big mystical pool of wonderment we came from, and we'll go back to it. Everything is made of very much equal parts. Interesting little side chat, little tangent. Did you know that chimpanzees have 99.6% of our DNA?
And bonobo is more.
And bonobo monkeys, slightly more. Gorillas, not so much, believe it or not. Question often asked at quiz nights, which is the closest relative to the human species. A lot of people say gorilla, but that's like 84%. It's way down. Chimpanzees, however, and bonobo monkeys, well over 99%. Yeah, it's like, tell you what happens with me, Paddy. Every now and then, I'll smell a perfume or flowers, and I'm thinking that's the sort of smell that I remember walking past my mother was like. So they're very real memories, and it's like certain foods you eat may take you back to a situation. Certain places you go that are similar also inspire some of the memories to be dug up. But that's the intricacies of the human mind. It's incredible. We don't use much of it. Some people don't use any of it, I think. Eric Idle sang and wrote a song, and in part of the song it says, we come from nothing and we go back to nothing. Pretty much the philosophy that I would carry, though nothing probably is a reality of some sort. No worries, Hammers. Enjoy the rest of your day. Actually, we won't be much longer because we're going to turtle off. Probably watch a show. Don't watch many shows. Is it tonight your show's on?
Nah, Sunday night is play games, go to bed.
Oh well. Not so much tonight. We don't watch a lot of telly, even though it's going without us being in there. Just keeps the ghosts inside the house entertained. But we did enjoy a nice feed of fish and chips tonight, which we haven't had for quite a while. But choices, it's an interesting subject. Choices, what choices we make in life. Like, why do we make them? Usually it's based on fundamental belief that you have or been indoctrinated in your family that has passed it on to you. But choices on different levels, something that we individually take on, like, do you ask that girl out to dinner or not? Or do you go for that new job or not? There are all certain things that passes and Sometimes we take opportunity and move, and others we're hesitant and reluctantly don't. But that's your right to choose. Doesn't mean it's the right choice, it's just a choice. I think I have one more cigarette and I will pass them to the note. Yep, get your day going, Paddy. What you cooking up for a meal tonight? I'm interested, as always. What are you having for dinner, Paddy, before you leave? We will be having something fresh out of the garden tomorrow. I've got some turnips, parsnips, beetroot, carrots, broccoli. There'll be a combination of something from those. Chorizo al Inferno. That sounds like a pizza to me. Chorizo I like to a certain extent. I like chucking a bit of chorizo in a stew. Brown sugar, garlic chilli, red wine. Sounds nice already. Now, how do I flip this thing around? There we go. It hasn't been an image from the past, it's the real seeds here. There you go. All right. Well, Paddy's off to do something, and everyone else is off to do something, surely, because it's daytime in most places that I'm talking to. It's night time here, see? Got a few seedlings up there growing. Replace the ones I get out of the garden tomorrow. But anyway, going to make beef enchilada. Oh, I love beef, man. Your son family are coming over. Yep, that's always the go-to. Enchiladas. I like making my own enchilada sauce, actually. Anyway, whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, hope you have a good time doing it. When you walk past someone you don't know, smile. There you go. Doesn't hurt. Next time, we'll catch up. See you later.